Hey guys, I am so excited for today's video because I'm going to be testing out a bunch of products that you guys recommended to me. So I recently asked you over on my YouTube community tab to share, based on what you know about my makeup preferences, what were some products that you guys thought I would really enjoy. And I did a video like this actually, I think 2 years ago at this point, and I ended up finding so many new favorites in that video, including I remember the ColourPop Pretty Fresh foundation, one product I'm actually wearing right now, the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer, products that ended up being long-standing favorites of mine. And I think it makes sense that you guys have great product recommendations for me because a lot of you who watch me may have similar makeup preferences, maybe you have a similar skin type or similar just makeup style. So I'm really excited to share what you guys influenced me to buy, and we're gonna put them to the test today. I actually haven't tried any of these products yet, so this is a true first impressions. I don't have a new foundation for this video, so I'm just wearing a tried and true combo, which is the e.l.f. Jelly Pop Primer and the Urban Decay Hydromaniac Foundation. I love these two products together, by the way. So the first product I want to test out, I'm really excited about this one. This is the Milani Conceal and Perfect Under Eye Brightener in the shade Rose. And I'm really excited to try this because the person that recommended this to me, honestly, they sold me on it with their description. The product itself is very thin and blendable, which I like so much better than the thicker, stickier, potted under eye correctors, and that sounds like exactly what I'm looking for. I'm really looking for something a little bit more thin because I do like to layer my color corrector with a concealer, and I don't necessarily love a super dewy, tacky under eye. So product squeezes up through this little fuzzy applicator. Okay, nice. So I was able to get a nice thin layer of that, and I mainly focused it on the inner darkest part of my under eyes. And I'm just going to tap this out with a brush. I definitely appreciate the more thin texture that this has. It says it has microfine pearls to illuminate. I don't see any glitter. Actually, I guess I do see just the slightest pearly finish. So there's what that looks like. Definitely doesn't have quite enough coverage to stand alone as a concealer, which is fine because I typically do layer color corrector and concealer, and I actually do have a new concealer to test today. This was also recommended by one of you guys. This is the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Creamy Concealer, and seeing as how much I loved the Pretty Fresh foundation, I was really excited to give this one a try, so I ended up getting the shade Fair 20N. I'm hoping this is a good shade match. We have a nice flat applicator. There's so many different ways to pair concealer and corrector together. I could also try putting the corrector on top of the concealer, but this is how I typically do it. I usually do corrector first, then concealer. Yeah, I think the shade will work. Okay, well, I'm very happy with this combo so far, just looking at my under eyes right now. This is pretty much the amount of coverage that I look for in a concealer. It doesn't have to completely blank out my dark circles, but this is a good level of coverage for me. So obviously I'll of course have to test these two separately as well, and I'll come back and share my thoughts on these in an upcoming speed review, but so far definitely can't complain about that. Next up, I have a cream blush to try out. This is the Essence Baby Got Blush stick. The packaging of this reminds me a lot of the e.l.f. little cream blushes that are in this packaging. I really enjoyed that product, so I'm excited to try this. I really should have looked at the ingredients before I bought this though, because I just noticed that this has coconut oil in it, which a lot of products with coconut oil break me out. Not sure if it'll break me out in a blush, so I'm willing to give it a try, but I will be keeping an eye on my cheeks to see if they do break out after this. I really wish brands wouldn't put coconut oil in their products, but here we are. So with stick products like this, I typically do like to just apply them directly to my cheeks, and we'll see how that blends out. Just gonna... Sometimes that doesn't play well with the foundation underneath, so we'll see. And oh, the shade of this, I forgot to say the shade, I got the shade Peaches and Cream. Okay, not too bad, but also maybe not the smoothest application ever. On the other side, I'm going to try just applying it to my brush. Also, this blush, unlike the e.l.f. one that is in similar packaging, at least this shade does not have any shimmer to it. But it does have a really pretty like kind of dewy finish. Okay, I love this color. I feel like it really brightens up the face. I definitely prefer the side where I applied it to my brush first. I think it just went on a little bit smoother over here, but I don't think it looks bad on this side either. I just feel like it's a little, like it may have lifted up my foundation a little bit where I applied it. So next up I want to powder my under eyes, and I do have a new powder for this. This is the Essence Brighten Up Banana Powder, another one of your recommendations. I got the shade Bubba Banana. That's funny. And this was recommended as a nice, really light banana powder. I tried another banana powder a while ago that was just a little too yellow for me, so I think I'm just going to use this on my under eyes today to further complicate the the under eye situation. So the concealer obviously creased a little bit since I applied it, but I'm just tapping out those creases now. And let's try this powder out. Okay, yeah, so definitely not visibly yellow looking. Obviously I have like a more peachy corrector under this, which is good at correcting like the blue of my under eyes, but I also have some purple to my under eyes, so I think it also kind of makes sense to have a little yellow. So we're just mixing all the colors together, I guess. But I do think this added a little bit of brightness to my under eyes as well. Okay, I did a few things off camera. I went ahead and applied some face powder to the rest of my face. I just used the LYS Triple Fix setting powder. I bronzed a little bit with the Fenty Sunstalker bronzer in Into Sun. I filled in my brows with the ABH Dip Brow Pomade, and I primed my eyelids with the LA Girl Pro Prime Cream Eyeshadow Primer, which I'm still testing. Not sure if I like this eyeshadow primer. I have a lot of eyeshadow things to try based on your recommendations. I may have bought too many, honestly, but I'm gonna try. I think I'm gonna do a different look on each eye, but the most liked comment by far on the community post was asking me to give the new Flower Beauty Lights palettes a chance. So yes, I bought them both. I couldn't decide which one I wanted more, so I just got them both. And I have to say, these do look a lot prettier in person than they looked in the photos online. Like when I first saw the photos of these when they came out, I was like, what? But they're a lot prettier in person. One of these did arrive broken, the Flower Coastal Lights palette. Ulta needs to get their act together with packing products. They kind of just tossed everything in a box, and they did put these palettes inside a little like bubble wrap pouch, but it wasn't secure at all. Like the pouch wasn't even taped closed, and everything was just like thrown into the box. So luckily only one thing broke, and it was this shade right here. I was actually able to easily fix it without any rubbing alcohol, which is really nice. Since these shadows are so moist, you can really just press them down with a paper towel, and like I used just like the lid of one of these setting sprays. So this is the Coastal Lights palette, really pretty mix of shades. And then I also got the Garden Lights palette. This one arrived all in one piece. I was noticing the Coastal palette, quite a few of the shades in here are a lot more of a satin finish as opposed to that super foiled metallic finish that most of these have. I also got something kind of similar in a single shadow form. This is the Ulta Beauty Lustrous Foil Shadow in the shade Rose Gold Leaf. This is a really beautiful topper, kind of similar to the flower formula, but just a little bit more of like a flaky topper. And then the one that I'm most excited about, okay, I did finally buy the Natasha Denona I Need a Nude palette. Several of you guys were like, Sarah, you gotta get this palette, you're gonna love it. When this first came out, I was so close to buying it right away, but I decided to hold off a little bit and just, you know, make sure that it wasn't just the hype getting to me. And I have to say, even now that the hype has died down a little bit, I'm still so excited to have it. So I am planning on doing a full 1 week 1 palette with I Need a Nude soon, so I probably won't focus as heavily on this palette in this video, but I am going to dip into it for some of the matte shades. So on this eye, I am going to test out that Ulta Beauty single shadow, and I'll just use some of the mattes from the I Need a Nude palette. And because this is such a warm shadow, I'm thinking I'll dip into some of these warmer mattes. I'm gonna start with Wit, this peachy matte. Okay. I don't know why I'm nervous. And keep in mind, I'm also not in love with the eyeshadow primer that I'm using, so I have to remember I'm only doing this on this eye, so don't go to the other eye. No complaints, I love a warm peachy matte. And then I'm gonna grab a smaller crease brush and dip into the shade Vague. Now I'm going to apply in the outer third of my crease. Going back to that really fluffy crease brush and just blending those two shades a little bit more. Okay, and just for the sake of some contrast, I'm going to take this deep matte brown silhouette on a smudger brush. I'm smudging that above my upper lash line, also keeping it really in like the outer third of my eye. So for my lid, I want to try out this Ulta Lustrous Foil eyeshadow. Doesn't this look stunning? So I picked some up on my finger. Not sure how much fallout this will have. Just tapping that on. Ooh, that is gorgeous. Oh, wow. Yep. Look at the glitter. Oh my gosh, so pretty. That looks so high-end. Doesn't look like I got any glitter fallout from that shadow. We'll see if it falls throughout the day. It might be something that would be better with like a glitter primer underneath, but so far so good. I really love the way that looks. I'm gonna do a look with these flower palettes on my left eye. Now, as long as you don't mind a little shimmer in the crease, you can totally use these palettes as standalone palettes, but I am going to dip into a couple more of the mattes in this I Need a Nude palette. And I think for this look, I'm going to stick to some of these taupier mattes. I'm going to go in with the shade Stone. I do have to say, Stone and Mesh, are they the same shade? They look really similar. Right, I'll take a little bit of Mesh, add that into the mix, see what that does. Yeah. It's like the slightest bit rosier. All right, and then for a little bit of depth, I'm gonna take some of the shade Tender. It's like slightly deeper taupe. And kind of same thing as the other eye, I'm focusing this on the outer third of my crease. So I want to start with one of these more satin shades from the Coastal Lights palette. Let's start with this shade right here. This is the shade Salty. I'm going to apply that all over the lid, just see what that looks like. It has the same creamy texture of the usual Lights shades, but just a little bit less sparkle to it. It's a little bit more subtle. So if you're into that kind of shimmer as opposed to the really metallic ones, you might like this palette. I'm gonna try, let's take some of this light pink now, Sunrise. I'm gonna take that just in the center here. So hopping over to Garden Lights, I wanna play with some of these purpley pinks in here. Let's do Bloom, that's this like lilac shade here. I'm gonna layer that over those other shadows. Now I want to pick up some of the shade Wildflower, this sort of like fuchsia, slightly deeper fuchsia shade on a flat brush. See how this picks up on a brush. And I'm going to take that in my outer corner. Add a little color to this look. On my pinky, I'm going to take some of this shade Petal here in the middle and pop that in my inner corner. Ooh, yeah, that is very foiled. So I like that they went with a bit of a range of finishes with these. All right, since I didn't put an inner corner highlight on this eye, let's take some of that shade Sunlight over here. Ooh, yeah, beautiful. At first I thought those two shades looked really similar in the pan because they're both like a golden color, but this one, which is on this eye, definitely looks a lot rosier. This one's a bit more yellowy gold. I did also swatch the two. Definitely pretty different once they're on the skin. All right, I can't stop. I'm gonna take some of this shade because it looks so shiny and I just can't help myself. That's the shade Iris. It's a little bit of a cooler toned purple. I'm just gonna take some of that on the center of my lid here. I took some more of that Wildflower shade on my finger just to add a little bit more to the outer corner. Loving the lilac and gold combo here. All right, for my lower liner, I'm gonna take some of this shade. This actually means I've used now every shade in this palette, so wow, didn't expect to do that. That's the shade Ivy. It's this like olivey taupe shade. I'm gonna take that on just this little pencil brush on my lower lash line. Last thing I'm gonna dip into I Need a Nude for is this shade Fair, which is just a matte cream color. I want to, ooh, hey, that had a lot of kick up. I want to clean up this brow bone situation. I feel like things got a little messy over here. So really just taking that all around the outer edges of this look. All right, so I managed to put a lot of shades on my eyes. That's gonna do it for the eyeshadow. Next up, I have a new eyeliner to test out from Essence again. I love Essence. So this is their Extreme Lasting Eye Pencil. It says waterproof. This was another recommendation. I've heard really good things about this shade specifically. This is the shade Silky Nude, and it's this brightening shade for the waterline. I don't currently have anything like this, and I've kind of been back into the whole like bright lower waterline. So I'm really curious to see how well this holds up in the waterline. Ooh, very brightening. Another one that came highly recommended was the Ulta Beauty New Heights Lifting Mascara. I know I've heard Kelly Gooch recommend this mascara as well. This person said very separating and fluffy and has a small wand for lots of control, which sounds like, definitely sounds like something I would like because, you know me, I don't love the, ooh, a very small wand. Way smaller than most mascaras that I've seen. I definitely prefer a small wand like this over like the really chunky, thick mascara wands. I just think those are kind of hard to control. So let's give this one a whirl. Wow. This is so nice for really just like getting into those lashes without making a mess on your eyelid. Looking at it from the side here, look how fluffy. Oh my god. Okay. I also love how small it is for the lower lashes. Okay, if this doesn't smudge, I very well might have a new favorite. It's so good for getting like all the way into those really tiny lashes in the inner corner. And as I'm first applying it, it does look a little underwhelming, but the more I work the brush through, the more impressive it gets. Going in with a second coat here. Okay, very happy with that so far. Like I said, I'll have to see how well it holds up, if it transfers or flakes at all, but I don't think I've ever seen a mascara brush this small, except for the kinds that are like specifically meant for the lower lashes. Really what's nice about this is it's super short. It allows you so much more control. Why aren't more mascara wands this size? I love it. Okay, wow. That is exciting. Last thing I picked up, you talked me into it. I know at first I was hating on these e.l.f. O Face Satin Lipsticks because they're just so much more expensive than e.l.f.'s earlier lipsticks that I was like, it better be good, you know, if they're charging that much more. So I ended up getting the shade No Doubt. And okay, I don't necessarily want to fault e.l.f. for this because, like I said, the way that my Ulta order was packed was very haphazard. But the bullet did fall out when I first opened this. I pressed it back down in there and it seems pretty stable for now. So let's try this on my lips. I'm gonna try it with no lip liner and just see what we think. Yeah, it's wobbly in there. It's wobbling. Has that happened to anyone else with these e.l.f. lipsticks? You'll have to let me know if that has happened to any of you. See, like, should we blame Ulta for that, or is that a common problem with these e.l.f. lipsticks? Let me know. but I really do like that shade. It went on nice and creamy, didn't tug at my lips at all. Feels really comfortable, and I do like that color a lot, especially with this eye look. This side, I think that's really fun. Honestly, this reminds me a lot of the old e.l.f. moisturizing lipsticks. I used to have one of those in the shade Ravishing Rose, like forever ago, and I really liked that one. That one also broke on me though, like the bullet started wobbling around in there. But the scent is almost exactly the same from my memory, and the texture is also very similar, so I kind of wonder if it's the same thing. But I think this is going to be a nice lipstick, especially as we head into the colder months, because it feels really nice and moisturizing. It doesn't feel like thick, like it's going to like cling to dry spots on the lips. I would say the texture of this reminds me a lot of the BK Beauty lipsticks for obviously a much lower price. So far so good. Aside from the fact that it did break, I do like everything else about it so far. And it does have a really nice magnetic closure too. So as far as first impressions go, I wasn't disappointed in any of these things. Like, I'm really happy with this final look. I would say two of the biggest standouts are these two things from Ulta Beauty. I think the Ulta Beauty brand makes some really underrated products. These two, the Lustrous Foil eyeshadow and that New Heights mascara, I have a really good feeling about both of these things. And the 3 palettes, I can't believe I bought 3 palettes at one time. That is very unlike me, but so far, I'm really happy with all 3 of them. And stay tuned, or nude, whichever, for the I Need a Nude palette 7 looks video that'll be coming soon. Probably, I'm gonna guess that's gonna come probably in November, because it takes a while to do those videos, but that is coming and I can't wait to keep playing with this. It's kind of hard to say anything right now about the 3 products on my under eyes because I did use 3 new products on my under eyes at once, but I will continue to test these separately and together and in all the ways so that I can give you some thoughts on these. But I was really happy with the way all 3 of them performed. The only things I'm not entirely sure about are the e.l.f. lipstick and the Essence blush. The blush I'm a little nervous about. I'll have to see if I end up breaking out on my cheeks after using this. I'm guessing, what I'm hoping is that because the coconut oil is, you know, kind of far down on the ingredient list, and because this probably isn't something I'm gonna wear every day, that it may not end up being a problem. So I'll let you know, but if you are sensitive to coconut oil, just FYI. And the e.l.f. O Face lipstick, I was thinking maybe I could like take like a lighter to it and melt it down so that I can really get it stuck back down in there, but I don't know, would that mess with the formula? But thank you guys so much for sharing all of your product recommendations with me. I would love to do another one of these at some point in the future because you guys have some great taste in makeup, I have to say. So thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you had fun. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe if you haven't already. I do also have a Patreon and a channel membership if you're interested in going above and beyond and supporting my channel. I'd love to have you over there as well. Otherwise, I hope you all have an amazing rest of your day, and I will talk to you again very soon in my next video. Bye!